The book reading session impacted me in a bunch of ways. It allowed me to exchange my thoughts and opinions with one of my role models, that is Kiran ma'am, and with teenagers from across the world. The session was so inspiring, interactive and fun that we didn't feel the hour tick away. Kiran ma'am was so down to earth and easygoing that opening up to her was like talking to our favorite teacher at school. All in all, it was like a dream come true for all of us. Don't you all agree?
My favorite hobbies are singing and listening to music. I love how a melody can capture emotions that words sometimes can't. Exploring new genres and learning new songs are like discovering new worlds for me. Whether I'm singing alone or with others, it brings me peace and excitement at the same time.
In my free time, I enjoy hobbies that keeps me relaxed and inspired. I love painting and drawing, which helps me express my creativity. And I love listening to music to unwind myself. Baking is another favorite hobby which lets me create delicious treats, while book reading takes me on a new adventure every time. These hobbies add joy and balance to my life. Thank you.
I've always been passionate about reading and writing books. They've been a ticket for me to explore and escape into new worlds. It also gives me a chance to express my creativity. I also love playing badminton and I have quite an eye for art, which makes me feel the same. Thank you.
Something I really enjoy doing is writing. Be it crafting stories or writing poetry, I enjoy it as it allows me to step into a world of my imagination and express myself. Something else I'm very passionate about is dance. I've loved it since my early childhood, and it too gives me a means of self-expression and relaxation.
Hobbies of an individual tells more about the person than themselves. My hobbies being art, singing, and reading. All of these is a way that which I can express myself in. It boosts our creativity as well as our imagination. Reading has also inspired me to write, which is another hobby in itself.
My hobbies are reading books, drawing, and creating my own jewelry. I like to read fantasy books as they transport me to places and adventures unknown. Making my own jewelry helps me express my creativity in a way that painting and drawing cannot.
My favorite book is Percy Jackson and the Olympians by Rick Riordan. I love how it brings Greek mythology to life with a modern twist. Every character has unique strengths and flaws that I deeply resonate with. It's humorous, exciting, adventurous, and filled with valuable life lessons about bravery and friendship.
Hello. My favorite book, The Shadow Hunters by Cassandra Clare, is a captivating urban fantasy that pulls its readers into a world where supernatural beings and humans coexist. Each book stands alone but connects into a mystical world filled with rich characters, thrilling twists, and thought-provoking themes like the complexity of good versus evil, self-acceptance, friendship, love, and diversity. It is a must-read for all young adult fantasy fans. I personally was very enthralled by it.
Tell Me Your Dreams, written by Shivani Shalan, has to be one of the most nerve-wracking psychological thrillers that I have ever read. I love how the author masterfully weaves twists and turns to keep me on the edge throughout the book. This thriller follows the main character's journey towards identity, love, and suspense. The character's resilience inspires me to find my own inner strength. Thank you.
To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. Set in America during the early 1930s, this coming of age story follows a young girl as she is faced with the harsh reality of racism and her growth from innocence to a deeper understanding of the world around her. The novel's exploration of morality challenges us as readers to face our own prejudices and leaves us with a lingering sense of hope.
My favorite book has got to be The Inheritance Games by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. It is a mystery fiction written for young adults to go into the world of riddles and games. We follow here Avery Kylie Grant, a 17-year-old who has just inherited millions. And in this book, the setting of the book is so vividly in our brain by the way that the writer writes. It's full of riddles, games, puzzles.
This is my favorite book, Daughter of the Deep by Rick Riordan. This story follows our protagonist, Anna Darker, and her fellow classmates as they venture to an unknown land where they must find their treasure. This story reminds us that friendship is the strongest and we must be strong to our toughest times.
Jai Dhariwa to all of you. We welcome our audience. We welcome Sandhya ji. You know, your children are big children. You know so much and you're reading so much. So it's lovely to see all of you. And you're from Puducherry, a city very, very close to man's heart. So very, very welcome. Sandhya ji, very, very welcome.
Thank
Very
you, ma'am.
ji,
An
mami.
honor.
Welcome, Sandhya.
Thank you, ma'am, for letting me join in. I didn't know I could join in.
No, but since we were having children from your school, we thought we could have the founder with us.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Appreciate it so much. I'm gonna really enjoy this.
Yeah, you got a bright, very bright children with you. How did you select them to come, these six of them?
I don't know the process what was followed by our administrative director, but I think I think they must have been very bright, brilliant kids who really enjoyed what they were doing, reading, and I was listening to them. They all had their favorite books, and all of them seemed to love reading and music, dancing, all expressing their own creativity. So I guess that must have been the reason why they were chosen.
Children, do you know what's helped you come to the program? Do you know? Or were you just told one day, Avantika?
Ma'am, I was told by my English, I was asked by my English teacher. She knows that I really enjoy reading, and then she asked me if I wanted to participate in this program. So I agreed.
Aditi, how did you come?
The same here, mom. My English teacher, she knows I'm passionate about books since I discussed them with her. So she asked me if I wanted to participate because she told me that I would enjoy it. So I agreed to participate, mom.
Super. So is it because of your book reading orientation, Anchika?
Not exactly, ma'am. Along with my confidence as well.
This is the next generation. There is nothing to hide. Saying, "Oh, of course, I'm very confident, and I had to be selected." And Harshini, you?
I think it's because I participate in a lot of poetry competitions and I enjoy reading as well. And the reason why I got into reading books was because of my English teacher as well. So since she told me that we had this program going on, and I was more than happy to join.
And you? I don't have see your name because it's covered by some other. Go ahead, next one.
Shruti, Shruti.
Shruti. Okay, Shruti, you?
Ma'am, they had called me because I like reading books, and my teacher had also found that out. So she thought I would like this.
Okay, if you notice, we are book reading and plus. We are book reading and more. But I'm glad your teacher basically focused on so the book reading. Reshma, you?
Mom, my teacher chose me because I'm good at book reading and I really like book reading. And I'm also very good at public speaking, so she thought it would be a great exposure for me.
So it's all your English teacher who's the common link with all of you.
Yes, ma'am.
It's good to know how you got identified. Book reading is one of the ones, but we also also like children who are sports champions, who are otherwise artists, who are musicians, who are leaders in their own right. So I'm so happy. This is a very important feedback for us because we would like to see a mix. The object is to encourage book reading into all across all students. Sandhya, tell us about your school because there's a whole batch for the first time. We have a group straight away from your school. It's called the Study L'École International Puducherry. Tell us about your school, Sandhya.
Ma'am, our school, basically is in Puducherry in Kalapet, and it is over 15 years old. And I think we have around 2,000 students, right from kindergarten to 12th grade. And we not only encourage our students with academics, but we also believe that the student has to be a well-rounded individual. We do ensure that they have good mix of other extracurricular activities. We have a swimming pool, we have a basketball court, um, we have a lot of focus on track and field. We have the Atal Tinkering Lab. We kind of have decided to start the new GLP GMP facility, which we spoke about when you had come to school. We probably might be the first school in India to have a lab where we're going to try and teach our students about research and the environment that needs to be maintained for research. Um, we want to look into drone technology, and so we are trying to get the students involved in that. We have a small gardening club. We have a lot of extracurricular activities. So we really believe that students shouldn't just sit and read and be bookworms, but they should be a well-rounded kind of a person, and they are ready to be leaders when they kind of leave our school.
When you say we, who do you mean by we?
The entire management, the school, faculty, all of us, we work together as a team. And I think that is the goal that each and every one of us want to, achieve at the end of it. We want to nurture good leaders who will be good citizens of the country.
But I do know there's a founding. Your father founded it.
Yes,
Parents.
my father, Dr. K.M. Cherian, he's the one who founded it. I'm sure you heard about the little story where he went and identified the land. He looked at the land which had this mango tree because he had studied under the mango tree, and so he had identified this land which had the mango tree. And I think we still have most of our student gatherings happening there under the mango tree, which has grown into a huge mango tree. But yes, but he's the founder of the organization. Yes.
And he's a very well-known surgeon.
Yes, he is a cardiac surgeon with around 60 years of experience in cardiac field. He's the first person to do the coronary bypass surgery in India in 1975. He also did the first heart transplant in India after legalization of brain death. There are a lot of firsts that he has done in the country. He is a Padma Shri awardee,
Sandhya,
And
can you improve your camera because the face is half? Can you switch on?
oh,
Come a little more. That's right. Good, little more to your.
okay,
Yeah, that's better. Now I can see you fully.
okay,
Thank you.
okay.
Thank you. Carry on.
So he has, spent a lot of time with patient care, but he's also equally passionate about education, and that's how he started the school. And he started the first physician assistant program in India. So he's called the father of the physician assistant program. Um, and we're trying to get our students in the study also involved so that they understand these GMP, GLP research kind of environments before they step out into the world.
So, children, here is what an individual can do. Dr. Cherian's life is an inspiration for all of you. How one individual can create institutions. And you see, he is an institution, but through you, each one of you has the potential to be an institution. Like Dr. Sandhya herself, she herself is a doctor. She administers hospitals. She's good in administration of hospital. She's worked in administration, and you know it's a critical area where how well hospitals have to be administered. So what I'm saying is, it's important to know that and get inspiration from the founders of your school. So good. Now I'm coming back to you. What is it, Saina? What would you like to do next?
They've all got little thoughts ready about Puducherry, their city, and
Okay.
then they'll ask you questions.
Okay, good. Avantika, your views on Puducherry? Sandhya, feel free to leave whenever you feel like. Okay?
Sure.
Yeah.
Yes.
We'll carry on with, but you've opened, you were invited to stay on. Okay, Avantika,
Sandhya
tell us
ji, but
about Puducherry. Sorry.
immense gratitude to you. Immense gratitude to you for coming. Thank you.
Lovely, Sandhya. Okay, Avantika, your turn. What do you want to say about Puducherry?
Good evening, ma'am. Today I would like to talk about tourism in Pondicherry.
Right.
I'm sure you've noticed, ma'am, when you go into the town of Pondi, the sheer number of tourists present.
Yeah.
Although Pondicherry is not a very large town, it seems to be a very big crowd puller when it comes to tourism.
Yes. Yes.
It might not be your average tourist destination, but there's something for everyone.
Mm.
There are serene beaches, backwaters, magnificent churches, tree lined streets, pastel colored colonial
Mm.
villas, the experimental township of Orville, and so much
Mm.
more. Whether you're a foodie, an adventurer, a spiritual seeker, or a party goer, the Pondi has a lot to offer.
Mm.
In fact, Pondicherry is the only Indian destination to have grabbed a spot in the list of top places to visit in 2025 by Lonely Planet.
Mm.
It's a town with a quaint charm and laid back lifestyle that truly lives up to its description of the place where time stands still. Thank you.
Oh, you ask is saying that time stands still. I think the memories
Yes,
stay forever.
yes, ma'am.
Wonderful. Thank you, Avantika. Aditi,
Thank you,
let's
ma'am.
hear what you have to say about Pondicherry.
Good evening, ma'am. So, I was born and brought up in Pondicherry, and it's a place where I have so many memories. And today I'll be talking about the food of Pondicherry. So, as we know, Pondicherry is a true food lover's paradise. So, it offers so many varieties of dishes and cuisines from coastal seafood, South Indian delights, and obviously amazing French inspired dishes. Pondicherry has some of the most beautiful cafes and restaurants in the world that people all across India come over to try. As Avantika mentioned, the tourism is very high here. And but something that I believe is that the real taste and flavor of Pondicherry actually lies in the small family-owned shops and roadside shops which have been here for decades, such as like Mithai Mandir and etc. Um, These shops, they've been here for a long time. They've perfected their dishes, the consistency, and although many people think that the hygienic standards here are not up to par, they're actually very high in cleanliness, and all their dishes are made with so much love and care. And me and my father, being huge foodies, we've made it our mission to try every one of these shops, and it's still our go to places in the weekends. And I believe that everyone should strongly support these small businesses, as it will help us strengthen our communities so much more. And my dad, actually being the founder of a food delivery app called Hopsticks, it's our mission to deliver food that we love all across Pondicherry. And I'd like to end off saying that it's truly a privilege to be in a city like Pondicherry, where we can try something new every day and there's always something for everyone. And something that I love is that whether it's an elegant French dish like cordon bleu or coq au vin, or everyday dishes that the people of Pondicherry love, like biryani or parotas, we perfected it to the core. And I'm incredibly grateful to be in such a beautiful and vibrant city like Pondicherry and call it my home.
Look at the potential, Sandhya. You are creating for Pondicherry. Amazing. Tourism to food and food. Okay, Reshma, let's hear. Very amazing. I'm loving hearing you, because that's adding to my more greater understanding of Puducherry from your point of view. Yes, Reshma.
Yes, ma'am. A very good evening to one and all present here. So I'm going to be talking about the Pondicherry Ashram. When I first chose the topic of Pondicherry Ashram, I was a bit hesitant. I wondered what could I say about an ashram that can be interesting to everyone. But as I started learning more about it and researching more about it, I was surprised on how inspiring and unique the ashram really is. As
Sri
Avantika
Aurobindo
mentioned,
Ashram. You talk of Sri Aurobindo Ashram.
yes, ma'am, the Sri
Okay.
Aurobindo ashram.
Yeah. Carry on.
As Avantika had mentioned, it is also a very nice tourist spot, and a lot of people from other states come to the Pondicherry Ashram. So, this Sri Aurobindo Ashram was founded in 1926 by Sri Aurobindo and the mother. And this ashram is not like any other typical ashram that you see around. Instead of focusing on renouncing life, that is, giving up on the worldly desires and starting a very holy life, it is all about embracing it fully. In the ashram, they practice something called integral yoga. This integral yoga aims at transforming one's consciousness, but this transformation happens not by withdrawing from life, but by growing through every experience. It's about bringing the best in ourselves in whatever we do. Today, the ashram is home to over 2,000 residents from all over the world. They're guided by the ideas of inner growth, creativity, and even service. These people from the ashram host a lot of charities and all that. And the people in the ashram believe that activities like education, art, and even sports can be a part of a spiritual journey. And the library in the Pondicherry ashram is humongous. There are a lot of books on philosophy, yoga, and even spirituality. It draws in people who want to learn and also want to find some inner peace. So, when I learned about this ashram and I started researching, I realized that it wasn't just interesting, it was something that was an eye opener for me. It reminded me that there are places in the world that are dedicated to a higher purpose. These places encourage us to look within ourselves and to create a positive impact in the world. And I believe that the Pondicherry Ashram stands as a beacon of hope and transformation, as it promotes equality and inclusiveness. And I'm really glad that I chose to speak about it. Thank you.
Have you been to the ashram?
Yes, ma'am. I've been whenever my relatives visit, we take them to the Pondicherry Ashram, as it symbolizes Pondicherry a lot.
And the resting place of the mother and the Sri Aurobindo. It's a resting place.
Yes, ma'am. And it's
Yeah.
very green also. There's a lot of trees and all that.
And full of flowers, because mother loved flowers, all colors. And she has named every flower, carries the name given by the mother. Okay, carry on. Guchu, what's her name? Because I don't see her name.
Shruti, Mami, Shruti.
Okay, Shruti, carry on.
Good evening, ma'am. As the people before me speak about the present of Pondicherry, I'm here to tell you about its past. During the
Huh?
4th and 14th century, Pondicherry was a part of the Pallava, Chola, and Pandyan empires. It was also part of the Vijayanagaran Empire. During the 16th century, the Portuguese established a trading center. In 1673, the French had come to organize a trading center here to rival the Portuguese. The Anglo-French Wars. During the Anglo-French Wars, the British had captured Pondicherry but later had returned it. During the French Revolution, the British again had captured Pondicherry but later returned during the 1800s. The people after India's independence, the French and Indian government decided that the people of Pondicherry should decide their political stand. So during 26 May 1956, Pondicherry had merged with India. Thank you.
Oh, you could do a little more. Come on. You could have done a little more history.
She picked up.
Shruti?
She picked up a little tough.
Yeah,
It's okay.
yeah.
She
You
picked it
no,
up.
it's good stuff, but which standard are you, Shruti?
No, I'm
Which class?
ninth.
Acha, well, okay, I concede that. Ninth is a small class. I thought you'd be a bigger class. Okay, but you made a great attempt. I like the attempt, but it's
Yes.
got a great history. But I'm glad you talked about the Palwas and the Cholas because all these archives, as you, Sandhya, maybe it's a good way to take children from the to the archival trips. You know, uh, there are lots of remnants of the Dutch, the French, the English, the Portuguese. There are lots of remnants around them. So maybe you can do an archive, a historical down the line cycle trips for these children to explore Pondicherry because many of the beaches have I've been to see these archival sites, historical sites, and their remains are there. Unfortunately, similarly is the forest trail. They also have a forest trail where so there's plenty to share. So it might be a good idea, Sandhya, on regularly to do these archival trips for students of your school.
Yes, ma'am. We do have field trips that are conducted, and maybe we will try and you know see that the kids go to any of these kind of historical sites so that they understand the history of Pondicherry better.
Yeah,
Yeah,
because
we'll
once they're
do that, ma'am.
interested, yeah, good. As a regular trip, as a regular year, and they those are the memories. And all of them visit the ashram. They go to the Ganesh temple where the history, legend has it. Let's see what the others two say. We'll talk about it later. Harshini, your turn.
Good evening, everyone. So, I'm here to talk about the French influence in Pondicherry. So, as Vanessa said, tourism plays a very important role in Pondicherry, and I feel like the French influence has just added up to that because in Pondicherry as a whole does have its own culture, its own heritage as well as cuisine, but French has added up to that, and because of that, I feel like it intrigues a lot more people to come and visit new places here. So, when we think of French influence in Pondy, specifically two places come up to my brain personally, that is Oroville and White Town. And when we enter those places, the straight away the things that we see are pastel colored buildings, the streets lined with bougainvillea trees, the cuisine, the fusion of Tamil and as well as French. And when I went there at first, to be honest, I was really surprised and it made me want to go to France and visit there. So there's a part of French that always stays in Pondicherry, and yeah.
Okay, why is the White Town called White Town?
But
Since you talked about the White Town, and
wait.
all the buildings are all colored gray. Why? These are all ashram owned family properties. These
Okay.
are the ashram owned properties, but the White Town is those when the whites lived. Basically, this is the whites lived. This is the way the architecture was. That's why it's very squarey. If you see the map of Pondicherry, this side, it's very square town. It's architecture where it's isolated. So in a way, these so-called whites lived in this section but most of it now is owned by the ashram, and they're all buildings painted gray,
Thank you.
very steel gray. Okay, carry on, Anshika.
Good evening, ma'am. I'm here to talk about what I like about Pondicherry. I've been here for around 3 years, and from what I've seen, is that Pondicherry has a unique blend of both French and Indian culture. From colonial buildings, quaint streets, and historical landmarks are truly very mesmerizing. Calm waters, picturesque beaches, and amazing sunsets are perfect for sightseeing. But what makes this place truly special are the people present here. They're very calm, kind, and generous. My family and I visit the beach often to share stories and laughter. This place has helped me to appreciate true beauty in small and very simple things. So the memories that I've made and that I will make here will guide me throughout my life, and I will always cherish and recall them. Thank you.
Has any one of you been to the Ganesh temple? No, not yet. Not yet. And have you
Yes,
been
ma'am.
to Karikal where the Shani temple is there? It's historical, the only one of its kind. Shani temple, Karikal. So I would suggest, Sandhya, it will be good since we talked about Pondicherry. This is the first thing which a school can link the children with the roots of the town or the city in which they're living. It's good to be children to link themselves with history and curiosity. The Shani temple could be a tour to Karikal, but not on a crowded day. I believe it's the oldest Shani temple internationally. That's why people from all over, that's why they were looking for a soft field, green field plane, a helicopter, so that people could come in and fly from different directions. But that's a different story. The story of the Ganesh temple is where you have the Ganesh temple not far from Rajnivas and play away from the White Town. Is I believe it's the waves which brought the Ganesh temple. It's the waves. It's the waves which brought this temple, and that's how Ganesh temple got established. It's it came from the sea as from the waves, so it assumes uh, its own spiritual heritage. But it's good. I'm glad you looked at Pondicherry. I'm glad the group decided to focus on a city, and the a little more a study by you in depth would have been even more interesting. The story of the beach is important. The history is important. The food is very well described. You people did that, but it's always good to know more. Curiosity is what will make you more and more intelligent as you grow, because the more curious you are, the more knowledgeable and better informed you will be as you grow.
But
And
mommy,
that's better. Hanji, carry on.
can we clap for them?
Of course, I clap for them. Here you go. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you so much. All of you children. You made a great attempt, but you also made us know, as organizers of this program, as to what is it that more we can do to whet your appetite to know. Because our whole objective is to whet your appetite, to make you curious. Because in leadership, one of the first qualities which is coming is a leadership must remain curious, curious to know more and more. And the more that leadership is aware and knowledgeable, better would be his or her responses. Good, but I'm very happy we've experimented with this focus on the city in one school, even having the founder with us to see how the batch works. But how you're able to listen to each other. Our object is to encourage students to know more, go a little more in depth, and maybe the teacher can play an advanced role in preparing you. So that could be another way where the teacher can step in and prepare and do homework and then train them and groom them. So the teacher also gets involved, and maybe we'll even invite the teacher to come on the board on the session to see how the students are performing. Isn't it, Saina? We could do this. If we choose to pick up a city and one common school next time in the next book reading batch, maybe we could do that. Just as we got founder today, we could have the teacher who's groomed them. Supposing we want to take Banaras, let us say we decide to take work on school in Banaras and talk about all about Varanasi. It'd be fascinating. through book reading. So you don't only hear about the books children are reading, you also get to know about the city the children are focusing on. So let's do that next batch.
That's wonderful. We'll do that.
Yeah.
That's really nice. We'll do that.
All right. Now we go to the next round. Would you like sign up? What would you like to do?
Gee, they're full of questions. So
Okay.
the
Go
question
ahead.
answer round.
Okay. Let's start with you, Avantika. What's your question?
Yes, ma'am. My question to you is, out of all the roles you've played in your life, that is police officer, social worker, administrator, and author, which one describes you the best?
Which one I would not want ever again would be politician. I thought all the roles I played, the shortest role I played in my career is that of a politician, which was just 1 month old. Just 1 month. And I experienced the role of 1 month as a politician, and I realized how far am I in way of thinking of a politician. Because a politician's nature is very dynamic. It's very exciting. It is also very experimental, and it's also very, very, very fast moving. I don't know, and it's also very expediency. What suits them for that moment. So it's all about expediency. If this doesn't suit you, you're not it. You reject it. But whereas an administrator is not about suitability, it's about the rules, the laws, right? It's the enforcement, it's the rule of law. But politician is that plus this. It's not that they don't follow the law or they don't execute. They do all. But politician is much more, and it's much more challenging a life than others. So mine was not as challenging in the sense, if you look at it, the administrator role, police officer role, or a social worker, I loved each one of these roles. But the role which I did not like was a limited role of 1 month old politician, because it just had rules which were always pushing the barriers to suit the situation, and that brought a lot of sense of uh, sense of risk, or sense of in a way unpredictability. Let's say the word is unpredictability in that life. Whereas as a police officer, life is predictable. You know the law, you have an offense, and you have a standard operating, and you've been trained, and you have a team, and you have the wherewithal, and you go about being. You have a different situation, but basically you are quite oriented, and you're quite well studied on that. So I think what I told you quickly, a role which I will never like to repeat is that 1 month old role of a politician. But all other roles, I lived them. I lived the role of a social worker. I've lived the role of an administrator. I do the work of authorship on a regular basis. These are the roles which are very dear to me.
Children,
So,
Avantika, I'll just add to my mother's answer. I think what ma'am is saying is about a journey of a month, which included electoral politics.
correct.
So that's a space. Everybody is not cut out for every kind of space, and every space is blessed. So that's the journey of our month where she was not extremely being herself and she was not very comfortable with it. But I would encourage all of you, because politics in its true spirit means governing a land, a piece of land. It actually means governance. And that role of governance also came to her when she reached Puducherry. So, in that sense, the politics has been extremely blessed, because I think the journey of Puducherry is going to be the closest to her heart. So, if you can hold the word politics in its true spirit, and you know that it truly means governing a piece of land, which means administration, which means policing, which means care, I think then it's wonderful. But you have to do it for the right reasons. So it's just a month. I think what ma'am is saying is she was not very comfortable for that space. But otherwise, I think all blessed.
I'll tell you why I said that 1 month. I know China's tried to do her best to give it all compliments to the word called politics. Yes, we can separate politics from the electoral politics. Politics is something which actually serves the people, which represents the people in policy making, in law making, in budget making, in raising support. It's governing the way we do see our honorable ministers. Some of them are doing exceedingly good job and shaping. You see, presidential election of the USA. See how through electoral politics, the one of them has finally got elected, and now he is trying to shape the world policies completely. See how far it goes. So there are two sides to the word politics. One is electoral politics, and this process is the toughest life profession to my mind is electoral politics, where people are demanding and people want every bit of you, every ounce of you for bettering their lives. So it's good to be in politics, but you have to be oriented towards a life of this kind of challenge. It's a it's very unpredictable, and people can be very demanding. I'll give you one example. When I was campaigning for this electoral politics, people would walk up to me saying, क्या तुम हमारी स्कूल की एडमिशन करा दोगे? क्या हमें तुम नौकरी में अपॉइंटमेंट करा दोगे? Would you get me appointed? Would you get me admission? And what would my answer typically as an administrator would be saying, well, it depends on the school rules. School admission will depend on the school rules. They didn't like the answer. They thought I would say, ha, yes, I will give it. You vote for me, I'll get you the admission. Then they expected the answer, oh, you vote for me, I'll get you the job. And I would say, no, you will come through the process of recruitment. I never said, no, I'll get you the job. Now they expect something in return. I vote for you, you get me a job. I vote for you, you get me the school admission. Out of turn or out of the rules. So somewhere that is what's the made me very it unnerved and made me unhappy. Where am I getting caught? Because I go by the rules. I go by merit. I go by a process. I go by equity. So this is where, but this is not all. Electoral politics, and thereafter the way you perform after you win an election and you serve the people is political administration. And these are two things separately. But I found the toughest part of my life is when you ask something in return, which politics is all about. Saina, you want to check out on that with me?
All is blessed. All is blessed. In fact,
Who are you?
no, all is blessed because I think it's blessed to be in a position to be giving and caring. It's blessed to be in a position where you can do something for somebody, of course, merit based. And you've
Yes.
been in that position. You've always been in that position where I
Politics
think,
gives you the maximum opportunity to serve the people with the largest scale.
yes,
Undoubtedly.
yes.
Undoubtedly. The largest scale and the largest good. But you have to be above the caste, color, and creed. You have to be for the largest good. That to me is the largest good. And not sectarianism. Nothing sectarian and nothing narrow. All
Ji,
right.
ji.
Avantika, your question, you got your
Avantika's question is completed. Now we go to Aditi.
Okay. Next question. Aditi, your question.
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, if you could invite any author or an influential person, alive or deceased, to join our discussion today, who would it be and what burning question would you want to ask them, either about their writing or worldview?
Well, I won't say Shakespeare, but I would say Ayn Rand. Ayn
I didn't
Rand's
get you, ma'am.
Ayn Rand, Ayn Rand, AYN,
Okay, yeah, ma'am,
Ayn
got it.
Rand, who wrote The Fountainhead, who wrote the book Atlas Shrugged. And the book Fountainhead is also my favorite because there's one good character in The Fountain called Howard Roark. And Howard Roark was an architect. So she created a character, it's a fiction. She created in Howard Roark a character who is an architect, but who builds buildings as he feels which meet the needs of the people. It may be wallless, a hall which has no walls, which only has a roof, but only has pillars, but a hall, and has no walls, no doors, nothing. And the person who contracted Howard Rock for an architect, they said, no, we want these. And he says, you take it or you leave it. This was the character she created in the book Fountainhead, a fearless architect who's more out of expressing himself to the best he thinks the concept needed. And he would not wait for a fee to be paid. He would say, either you reject my building, my blueprint, or take it. But I will not change it. So Ayn Rand was a very fearless author who remained my favorite from the school times. So if I would have a choice, I would call her and want to listen to her. Some of them are individual. This was a very highly individual author who promoted individuality fearlessly, not caring for whether you like it or you don't, but also based on ethics and morality and principles. So I would
And
call
ma'am,
such an author.
if you could ask her a question, what would it be?
Well, I could probably say, ask her what made her fearless, what made her what she was, very strongly individual. Why I would not be able to get to the roots of the, because you can only know it from the roots, what makes you so and so. But such authors, unless you go through their autobiographies and biographies, you would not know. So Ayn
जी
Rand remains my favorite. Let's go
जी
next.
रेशमा
Yes, ma'am. My question for you is, despite India being a very vast and diverse country, why are we still running behind the rat race of JEE and NEET and all those competitive exams instead of taking a very holistic and portfolio based account like how it works abroad? Like, for example, in architecture, in India, you'll have to attempt JEE and all that. While abroad, you'll have to submit your portfolios of paintings and all that. So I want your opinions on that now.
Well, thanks to some developments in growth, NEET and JEE also came only recently. What was happening till 5 years ago? There was no NEET. And what was happening to medical college admissions? Do you know that?
Yes, ma'am. There was a lot of capitation based inputs. Like people started paying money to get into colleges.
They were paying money.
Hmm.
This happened during my time also while I was there serving in Puducherry. And one of the biggest fight I had with the establishment at that time, medical establishment, was against extortion of money for an admission for a seat in the medical college. And it ran into crores of rupees. And it was devoid of merit. An NRI seat was sold for crores of rupees. A seat which should have gone by merit, nobody wanted merit. They still wanted money. So it was crores of rupees. And they when I stepped in the way as lieutenant governor to stop this, it was quite an uproar in Puducherry itself. In the 2017, 2018, it's 24 now. I'm talking 2018 and 2019. We were in the Madras High Court fighting these petitions. And the parents association took them to the court for extortion. And it was open extortion, they weren't hiding it. And they were making money like anything for everything, and they would not give you any receipt for the money they were taking. This is despite my going to the college establishment saying, give them a receipt for what you, they will say, they told straight away up front, receipt only for this much, receipt, no receipt for this. So that means it was a lot of cash collection. And I do remember that even before I took charge there was a raid in a particular medical college in Puducherry, which showed a godown full of money, godown full of cash. And the person go down. That was the kind of money which was amassed through medical admissions. So NEET has come as a solution to uh, all these irregularities which are happening, and you have now a National Medical Commission. So thank God we got finally NEET now, which is now putting that you have a particular percentage, and now you can by merit you will get the college, not otherwise. And there's a fee limit. But prior to that, it was a big struggle to bring these same vested interests under the law, under the rules, or under some ethical moralities. So JE, etc., they've all come, but I think it's a beginning of a journey now. And you also have national education policy last 2 years. For all these years, we never had a national education policy which allowed you the flexibility of choice of subjects or flexibility of the points you've gathered, whether you've done it in painting or you've done it music or in sports. You could consider that as your main subject. So I think India has taken its time to grow, but it's a long way to go. It's just begun still. Even NAP is still being still finding its finding its birth in many schools. They're still struggling because NEP involves a lot of structural changes, a lot of skill development infrastructure for which you need a lot of inputs. So I think NEP will finally take its shape for skills development in another 3 to 4 to 5 years, I see, with the size of the country we have.
Ji, we go to the next question. Shruti.
Ma'am, my question is, in life, what is your most precious experience, good or bad?
Bad experience, I've already told you.
That's that's all blessed.
Okay.
Let's talk about the good. Let's talk about the good experience.
Now she asked me the bad experience, so I can say no. I have not had a bad experience. I can say that I have.
No, you converted it into a learning, so there is nothing bad. Now
That's my daughter defending me. So it was a good experience of learning. Positive way of doing it. Okay, that's what she wants. But my good experience has been totally the administration of Pondicherry. For 5 years, when I governed it, and as its lieutenant governor, was a dream because it put me into the right place with the right rules and with the laws and the position and the resources and the team and the people. When you said the people are very nice, they're very calm, they're very hospitable, you said that, I would endorse that. Puducherry people are very settled. They're not agitated people. They're happy with whatever you give them, and they're grateful people. They're very grateful and they're very decent. They're well mannered in a way. So it's not that because I was a lieutenant governor, could see this. No, that way. They are settled with even little, and they won't even agitate. They won't even demand. When I used to go to them, they were settled with many things which they could have got, but were not demanding. They would ask, but then if they would get it, they would get it. Otherwise, they give up or they settle down. But you know what? It's a rich union territory. It's basically very well gifted by nature. So it has something for all. So I would say my precious experience has been 5 years of governance in Pondicherry. That's been a very precious experience. But my other earlier experiences were running a prison or my traffic police or my crime prevention, I think were all my training assignments were very, very valuable. But the longest one where I could visibly see change over a period because it was a 5 year tenure was governance of Puducherry. Until then, but the memories have soaked in, the memories have conceived in, and memories are coming afresh. So I think experience most precious has been Pondicherry's 5 years as its lieutenant governor.
yes, and something where she's come back home with so much of love, because There were women and children, and uh, they just wanted to touch her and hug her. I think that's your greatest treasure. So, ma'am earned that. I think that was wonderful. So, those are the beautiful experiences, and that's
Your
what we
school,
carry forward.
your link to your school has also come thanks to Pondicherry work. The link to Sandhya Cherians and the family of the study school. I went to your school as its lieutenant governor. And that's how I got to see what a valuable school this was. All is the gift of the tenure done in Pondicherry. But
Yes,
Pondicherry has been a precious experience and will remain
yes.
precious.
Harshini, Bita,
Yes, ma'am. So my question is, when we were all kids, we have a vision of who we want to be when we grow up. So do you think you've achieved who you aspired to be when you were a kid? And do you have any regrets?
I have only gratitude so far in my life for the abundance I have received by divine grace. It's been abundance. It's been abundance in every respect, whether at work or as a family or as at the results of the work, and the love and the respect I have had from my fellow Indians. That's why when I travel overseas, I run back because I get so much of love and I give love, get and give love, which is not so outside your own country. So I think I have nothing but no regrets, except to say, if I were reborn, I'll tell you what I'll do differently. I would become, I would be a saint in uniform. I will not uh, go differently. I will become a saint in uniform. You understand? I will not go into any other form of life except being a saint. It will be like the Vivekananda. I'm basically that at heart. I'm not basically, I would love to be a Vivekananda in uniform.
children.
That is,
I don't think my father is very happy hearing that. Mr. Bridgebedi is not very happy hearing that because he loved my mother the most, and he loves her the most, and he will always love her the
no,
most.
I don't doubt that. So
Yes.
did I, but I don't doubt. But that's why I exactly said abundance. But you asked me a question. It's not a regret. It's not a regret. I would say if I were reborn, I would still go back to the Indian Police Service, but I'll be a Vivekananda in uniform. That's it. So it's a regret that it regret in the sense it didn't strike me then. Why does it strike me now? I would be a saint to serve my country even more.
Okay.
Thank you.
Done. And I don't think my father is very, very happy right now hearing that answer. But you know what? Children, on a deeper note, certain bonds complete you. So it's lovely to say all this at this point. But the fact is, I can say this as a daughter, and I'm a mother, I'm a wife. My father and my mother completed each other. And that's made her also who she is, because the blessings of the Bedi family, the Bedi name, the blessings of Guru Nanak Ji, blessings of my grandmother, my grandfather enveloped her. And they were they are very, very proud of her. So I think this message has come from Mr. Bridgebedi. He wanted me to say this on a live interview.
So I'm not talking about I have any regrets. I can say how will I improve my life or upgrade my life or evolve my life in my next birth is Vivekananda in uniform.
चलो ठीक है जी हंसिका बेटा ask your question.
Hmm.
My
But you're
question for
right.
you is,
How can I say this now? Because I've experienced earlier. So I can say now it's a growth and an evolution. Or maybe a Buddha in uniform. See, it's the way you look at it. Who are you?
I'm representing my father right now. So I'm on his side. I'm on his
Honest.
side.
Okay, Hanshika, your turn.
Hanshika.
My question for you is, ma'am, what role did resilience play in overcoming your obstacles during your career?
Oh, without resilience, I won't have been here. Nothing comes when you're wanting to do something outstanding and extraordinary. It is difficult. The easy way is to copycat, isn't it? And the difficult way is to carve your own path and find your own and discover it yourself. And in that undiscovered path, you come across challenges. There may not be a road ahead. So it's a road less traveled. There may not be any road. But you want to reach a destination through that track. So hard work doesn't come easy. Easy way is to copycat. But difficult way is to be different. And not just to be different, but to make the difference and not give up. And now that resilience comes by willingness with the sense of purpose. And the sense of purpose drives you, the why of your doing. And the why compels you to innovate, to create, to think ahead, do more, find the resources, and then follow up and not give up. That's resilience. And that's nothing but everyday sense of purpose which drives you out of your comfort zone. The sense of purpose. When I joined the Indian Police Service, there was a purpose. Purpose was to serve and do justice to as many people I can connect with. And that purpose has remained. Even your book reading is a purpose. It came out of a purpose. During COVID times in Pondicherry, when we could not connect with children in person, we started this channel called Demonstrative Learning to connect with children through online. Then we were doing once a week course. Do you know? No? Then our book reading with children was once a week to connect with more and more people, more and more children, so that because we love to connect with people to inspire youth. So it's inspiration. That's what I'm saying. I think the purpose is being of value to humanity. But then you have to get out of comfort zone. You have to choose to do this rather than do something else which may be easy, which may be entertaining, which may be tastier, which may be more palatable, which may be near and it may be easy. But you choose something which is different and difficult and demanding, but meets the purpose. So it's a purposeful purpose which compels you to find and create new pathways. But those pathways are for others, not for yourself. You do it for others to make their lives better and easier. Get Hanshika? You see what an
Thank you.
amazing school you've been. You asked me very challenging questions, and I've been very forthright with you. And luckily, you had a balance through my daughter sitting in the group.
Ji, Mummy. We'll do a sum up and then we'll.
Please go ahead and do the sum up.
Ji, Mummy. Thank you. Thank you. It's been all very blessed and very loving. Children, I'm just going to leave a few thoughts with you and you take them home. You know, when such conversations happen and when you get to hear something which is meaningful, I think life is presenting you then with a power of choice. Because otherwise you'll not get to hear it. So when life offers you deep, meaningful thoughts, a book, a quote, a thought, a little talk, something which makes you think, motivates you, inspires you, makes you sit up, wonder, I think Mother Nature is presenting you with the power of choice. So keep that in mind. You're being presented with power of choice. You asked about politics. My child, all public positions, all offices, all positions, they are not to self-serve. They are to give. But you need that power. If you acquire that power, to take care, then they become truly meaningful. But there are two things required for that. You must be financially very secure and you must be self assured. You don't go into public life to secure yourself financially. You secure yourself financially and then enter public life. Then it takes a different meaning. If you're self assured and not feeling threatened by any and every opinion, then you enter public life. If you know why you do what you do, why you say what you say, then you enter public life. So keep that in mind. And the last little thought I'm leaving you with is, you asked about the NEET exam and the policies. Why aren't all you youngsters investing your energy into that? You are getting what you all want. Where is the demand for it? Whatever you see is what the majority wants. Why aren't young youth groups, youngsters, parents asking for wholesome education for their children? Through the right means, not through agitation. You have to ask for it and you have to put it across in the right manner. So keep all this in mind and move ahead. Ma bless you all.
Okay, can
Stay
I have a word
healthy.
from Sandhya?
Yes.
Sandhya, give us your little feeling about the program of today. How you feel?
I
What's your
loved it,
takeaway?
ma'am. I loved the entire session. I think it was very thought provoking. Good questions being asked. Ma'am, I have a quick question for you. um, I've always wondered, you being the first woman IPS officer of the country, how was it? How did you even think about it? Because I'm sure nobody ever, wanted to venture into it. Being the first woman police officer, how did your parents, say, okay, go ahead with this? How were they? I'm sure they were supportive, but how was it breaking this, you know, huge barrier that it's a first in the country, and now you see many more women officers, but you being the first, how was it, ma'am?
Sandhya, the credit goes to my parents, how they brought me up. They brought me up uh, thinking very equally and making me believe that man or a woman, your first thing is not the gender, is your self-reliance. Be who you want to be. Move towards self-reliance. So they moved me towards professional, educational self-reliance, but groomed me to be strong, courageous, clear-headed, hardworking, value-based. With this dream, I have to be on my own. I have to be myself. But grow up not to be a selfish life, but a life of giving. How can I be a giver if I don't qualify and deserve for myself? So I had to educate myself, be myself, be strong, mentally very strong, clear-headed, professionally strong, financially secure, to be of value to others, and never ever to ask. That was the growth, and that's why sports went into my family, into my life. Sports, NCC went strongly into a lot of mobility, a lot of competition, a lot of preparation, a lot of hostility, a lot of adversity, a lot of discomfort, a lot of adventure went into my life. And I grew up not in a secure way, but in a rather orchestrated, insecure way while they're there. So I had to choose something which was out of unconventional. Convention at that time was choosing a right husband. At that time, for the girls, was choosing the right husband. For me, I chose my husband. He was a tennis player, a tennis friend. So I chose unconventionally, married unconventionally, lived unconventionally. So that is where it was the growth, and the credit goes to both, more than my school, which was a value based school education, but my home, my family, and both the roles played by the mother and the father. So I had to be unconventional. I was brought up unconventionally, thinking unconventionally. I never limited myself to a gender role. I grew up as a person, as a strong individual who has a role to play in shaping the destiny, her own and of the humanity around. Without knowing, it will be the police service. But when it came to a choice to make, I chose the Indian Police Service because I knew the power of uniform. I knew the power of uniform. If it upholds the law, it's the strongest, it's the last word. But it brings its own challenges. So that's the background, Sandhya.
I'm still always, in awe. Every time I, speak to you, I interact with you. How did you make time for family, ma'am?
You see that? You see
Must have been
Saina sitting
very
right there.
challenging.
No,
Yeah, I know.
I continued with family support. I continued my life with family support. My parents continued to be a rock support. So we were an extended family working, living together. Saina has been very carefully nurtured by her grandparents as well. Daddy took her to tennis. Mummy sent her to school while I provided for and also sent her to school. So she had two mothers, two fathers at home. It was like that. So I think it's just a family support. And Indian working women need this kind of extended family support. They need family. Every working woman needs family support if the family is willing to give and if they're comfortable with. I was willing and I was comfortable. So it was needed. So family support was critical. I was blessed by a family which was willing to support me to the hilt.
Should ask your daughter the same. How was it like having such a, a famous mother? I mean, she makes heads turn wherever she walks. How was it growing up as her daughter?
Sandhya, we run out of a time program.
Okay, all right.
I'm very, very, very proud of her. Extremely proud of her. She's
I'm
very,
sure.
very self-made. She's extremely self-made. For me, she's my mother. So, I think we carry that feeling all the time that this is a mother-daughter bond. But yes, being Dr. Kiran Bedi's daughter is a very, very blessed legacy and responsibility to take forward. And with Ma's grace, Ma's Hari's Kripa, I'll try living up to it. But it's a very strong mother-daughter bond, and I think that's what matters. But my mother's a very, very self-made being, and she has her destiny has played a very, very role. Divinity and destiny have blessed her, and they continue to do that. Yes.
Thank you,
Thank
children, for this great session, a very memorable session, and lot of lessons learned. From next time, we are thinking of introducing author, author student, author teenager. So amongst the team, we'll also have children who've authored a book and will then talk about their book. So we'll now promote an author teenager. From next session, we've shared this with Shakira. I've shared this with Saina with Shakira. I'm sure she discussed this with you. So next batch, you will also have author teenagers who will talk about their book, why they wrote, what they wrote, how they wrote, and what is the book like. So while you read other authors, you will also read your own peer authorships, peer books.
Thank you. And Ma bless you all. Ma bless you all. Dear Harima. Thank you. Immense
Thank you.
gratitude.
So,
Children's Day.
as you know, your program remains on YouTube. You can revisit Demonstrative Learning. This program will be posted on the YouTube channel of Demonstrative Learning, and it will stay there. You can visit it whenever you want, and a bit of it will also go on all our social media handles. Actually, this program has gone live on all our handles. All our handles cumulatively, with the followership of almost maybe 14 million people. It's gone live on all our social media handles. So you can save it, you can clip it, share it with your friends as you want, or revisit it whenever you want. Bye bye, and thank you so much.
Ma bless it. Ma bless
Thank you.
it. Ma bless
Thank
it.
you. Bless you.
Ma bless
Bye
you
bye.
and stay happy and stay healthy. And stay happy and healthy.
And you'll all receive a morning message from Shivani Arora as a morning nutrition. You can read, share as widely as you wish. Thank you, and bye bye.
Lots of love. Thank you. Sanjay, thank you. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Sandhya.